Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Full Force News Burst Live with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80, brought to you by Generals Joe's REBORN.com. How is everyone doing? It is another busy day in the world of G.I. Joe, is it not? Hello, Wilfredo. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Punk with Toys. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hello, everyone watching. First and foremost, I want to say a massive thank you to the 10,000 plus views we've had on that Toy Fair interview. Oh my goodness. Wow. That definitely took me by surprise. So thank you very much to all of you guys who have watched that episode. And by no mean feat, the live stream as well was like at 4,000, I think. Yeah, which is crazy. 4,000 views for the live stream and 10,000 views or whatever for the interview with Lenny. Wow. I see we just need to get Lenny as the host. That'll sort everything out. In any case, thank you very much for that. It's crazy pants. So yeah, had a great time over Toy Fair weekend. Got back on Sunday, and yeah, it was amazing. Had a phenomenal. It was really fun actually because it's not like a standard convention. It's really like it's a trade show. So all of the companies that are on show, they're showing off stuff, the upcoming stuff, the new things that they're excited about, and all that kind of jazz. And they're trying to sell it all basically. And then you've got other companies there who are effectively going around and buying it all. But it's a really cool show. Like the Javits Center's massive, and it's perfect for those kind of events. But it's huge. So I got there early, had a little wander around, took some footage, saw some people, met up with some homies. It was great. It was really awesome. And then went and did the Hasbro event, which was just out of this world. Like it was crazy. And then like you kind of go into this, you walk into this big open like space. You've probably seen the video I did anyway, but you go into this little open front space which isn't like, you know, covered or anything, and they've got a few little bits and pieces on show, the retro figures, the legacy figures, and then you go and then they take you in the back, Kitty said, and you've just got this like alleyway of just product setups, but real fancy. And the Joe setup, the Joe booth was absolutely incredible. Like shelves packed with stuff. Dio on one of the shelves of like the modular fortifications all set up. It was so good. And then of course all the new figures on show. Just absolutely mind blowing. So yeah, to be able to get to it, see it in hand, touch it, pick some of it up. You know, it was just wild. It reminded me of the first Toy Fair I ever did, which was 2020, and was the birth of the G.I. Joe Classified series. So 5 years later, and I'm back at it. In any case, we've got a few little news segments to talk about tonight. I wasn't actually going to go live tonight. I was actually going to save it for tomorrow night. Still probably will go live tomorrow night because there will be pre-orders tomorrow. So they'll be worth talking about any other promo images that we haven't seen yet. We don't have all the promo images for Breaker, but that's usually the case when there's a Target exclusive. Like you've got a Target exclusive that minimal images pop up. Well, they as I'm speaking, they might be shared or going up online or whatever now, but we'll have to see. I'll have to keep my eyes on that one. But yeah, we have images for pretty much everything else. I believe that the Legacy Firefighter, those images were like Saturday night, basically, weren't they? They went up. So we'll be talking about those as well. We'll be talking about a little bit of Reaction Plus news and some Void Rivals, because it all kind of happened on Saturday while I was doing the live stream, so I didn't get a chance to talk about it. So we'll talk about it tonight. So let's start then. Actually, I say let's start then, but I can't remember if it's Void Rivals I start with, or well, let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Still don't know because I've got the standard image up. Look, the thumbnail, as it were. Hello, everybody, and there's loads of you in the chat as well. This is crazy. I hope you're having a good Monday evening. I hope the start to the week has been as fun as the weekend. Never is it? It was a great interview, says Wilfredo. Thank you very much. Chris calls. We're there for it. Thank you, Jeff. Or it's a live stream. Yes, it is, Ed. Thank you very much. What else are you guys saying? Any questions? Any 10k views? Phenomenal. Thank you, Ed. Much appreciate it. Jeremy says you deserve it, man. You rock for all that you do for the Joe community. I'm only reading out specific comments, as you can tell. Great coverage, Chris. Great live, great interview. See, all of these are great comments. Thank you very much, Rogue, KT21, and thank you, Childish Landino, for those comments, respectively. Yes, Chris, great coverage. Thank you, Newfie. Thank you for sending out that Toy Fair interview, Squish, says Squishy. Yes, I tell you what, shug it. I tell you that was for Checkpoint Alpha. I tell you what, the getting that out that night, Kitty said, was no mean feat. I'm telling you now. Like, I obviously did the live stream, and then I thought, I've got to just do this. And then I didn't. I was up until about midnight and a bit, probably a little bit longer than that. And then I was up at 5 a.m. So didn't really get a lot of, a solid shut eye. But I did sleep a tiny bit on the train because I wasn't driving it. Did they say how tall the polar bear is when standing up? 9 inches, I believe, at Punk with Toys. Targat exclusive, yes, Scott. But Breaker is. Anyway, let's get into this. Let's get into this. I was working overtime, absolutely, Jeffrey. I was proper mask Crusaders. It's Void Rivals first. So yeah, literally on Saturday, while I was doing the live stream, this kind of just popped up on on the socials. This wasn't on show during the Toy Fair event. Otherwise I would have been all over that. But to be fair, when I got into that room, I just went straight for the G.I. Joe section and didn't, it was like blinders were on, concentrating, overwhelmed, trying to like post images, trying to get an interview with Lenny actually there on the floor. It was incredible. So I did miss a lot of the other things. I did get, for like a split second, got to run around and just have a butcher's at everything else, but I didn't see the Void Rivals on show. Now this is going to be a set with Jetfire and 2 O-ring figures of Darak and Solila from Void Rivals. If you read that comic, congratulations, it's amazing. The Skybound universe is just, the Skybound Energon universe has been absolutely phenomenal. Like, I've just been very you can see the defense perimeter on his tank, Ed. If you go to his tank, they've got a huge load of images from the G.I. Joe segment, and the modular fortification is in full force. Anyway, so if you're, I'm just loving this comic. They're doing such a good job with it. I genuinely wasn't expecting much. Is that sound bad? Like, I was and I wasn't, because I'd kind of had that sort of like IDW fatigue a little bit, because even though I had enjoyed like the lion's share of the IDW universe, it definitely waned a little bit towards the end, or it felt like it had waned towards the end a little bit. They tried doing their own sort of like continuities, and it hadn't quite caught on. Obviously we had the Revolution and all that kind of, the combined universe thing, which never really happened. And it was, for me, it was like a bit of a letdown, because it had so much potential. It started pretty well, and then you could just tell that, there was a lot of it that really bugged me, like just the release cadence of all the issues, the fact that they messed up in the distribution of the releases, and they posted a very major spoiler in one of the other issues that was in that universe before the actual reveal happened. And I remember that and just being like, oh, that took the wind right out of me. Like, I was like, well, hang on. And it was weird, because I saw it and I'm like, hang on, what have I missed something here? And then the next couple of weeks later, the other issue came out, and it was like, oh, that's why. Anyway, but yeah, I was kind of excited on one side for the Skybound because of Robert Kirkman, because of what they've done, and because I was kind of like into quite a few of the Skybound series, like comic series, and I was kind of like, enjoying what they were doing. And then when I heard they were doing this Void Rivals thing, I thought, interesting. Then obviously it came out that was going to be a sort of like connective tissue universe sharing story with, Joe, Transformers, what have you. And so it was like, oh, cool. But I tell you what, I'll tell you this for now. When I started reading the comic, I was hooked, and just Void Rivals as well on its own. And I was kind of like, wasn't expecting much about Void Rivals, and it really blew me away. It doesn't even need Transformers in it or G.I. Joe or whatever. It doesn't need it. I mean, it stands on its own, but it's cool that we've got this added into the universe, and now toys have tied it in even more. So yeah, Darak and Solila have turned up in O-ring form, which is pretty cool. And it looks like Darak is sharing, is that Zartan legs? Because obviously the parts exist, so it kind of makes sense a little bit to utilize them. But it does look a little bit like, what do you call it? A little bit Zartan leggy on Darak, which is pretty cool. Maybe they are showing a few more parts than previously, than I realized, but that's really cool. Anyway, I think they look really cool. I was going to do a zoom in on the two 3 3/4 figures, but you guys can do that. It's fine. And I just wanted to kind of like, first of all, say I love the fact they're doing this. I hope we get a few more sort of Void Rival related kind of toys out of it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, really. That's a great mold, isn't it, Dom, for Jetfire? I must admit, I think. Oh, Solila has Baroness legs as well. I didn't realize that. That's brilliant. Thank you, Paul. Oh, you're just questioning that. I don't know if they're Baroness. Could it be? It could be, though. It does look a little bit like that, doesn't it? Like her armor on her thighs. But anyway, yeah, I do love that Jetfire. I think it's very cool. Anyway, very excited, like I said, for Void Rivals to be entering the toy universe now. And this might have to be one of those little cheeky sets I pick up because, again, like I've been loving this comic so much. And the Energon universe itself is just outstanding. But anyway, that's Void Rivals. This will be, let me just, I can't remember it, all of the word, some details about this. TFU Info shared this. That's when I saw it. It was actually TFU Infos, but sent to me. Official SDCC, Jetfire, and Void Rivals, Darak and Solila includes a comic. There you go. That's all you need to know. And that is pretty much Void Rivals. Brilliant. Airborne Customer says, definitely Zartan legs. First thing I noticed when they revealed it. Oh, cool. Robert says, it's funny seems like Void Rivals is doing the thing old Marvel comics did by putting Marvel characters in G.I. Joe Transformers comics. Yeah. The ones from yeah, exactly. Anyway, yeah, cool. All right. Well, more 3 3/4 for those O-ring aficionados to include in their collections. It's nice, again, adding to the 3 3/4 sort of O-ring family here. And I think that's quite cool. Right then. I wonder if we'll get Zoid Rivals. That's what I'm talking about. Get that in the combined universe. Zoids. I wonder if we'll get Void Rivals characters like Darak and Solila in Classified. Just saying. Could happen. We're almost certainly going to get some sort of Energon universe collaboration, aren't we? We've got Dark Energon in the form of mole rats and stuff, haven't we, in terms of the narrative? I wonder how they're going to like do the comic, the actual other aspects. SDCC only, apparently so, Cropstar, yes. Right then, that's Void Rivals. Next, this image emerged today, courtesy of John Hengeveld. Sorry, John. Just wanted to make sure I got your surname, or at least said your surname. I don't know if I got it correct or not. But John Hengeveld posted, or Hengeveld, it could be, or Hengeveld. I don't know. My apologies. But John posted this image earlier. He purchased this online. It wasn't a Target like purchase or anything. But this is an interesting one. This is a we don't know. Well, it looks legitimate, doesn't it? Let's say that off the bat. It doesn't look like a custom necessarily. I very much doubt they would I mean, it's bloody good if it is. So congratulations if this is a custom, then congratulations. But I imagine at some point we'll probably find out whether this is legit or not. But if so, then I wonder if this was that figure that we were told about was going to be in with that first wave of Reaction Plus, and was going to be sort of like not first wave, it would have been second wave, wouldn't it? Second wave of Reaction Plus that was going to be like a Target exclusive and would like appear but not be in the wave necessarily, like they've done before in the past with Reaction. So it could be that. There was no signs of this popping up necessarily for the next wave when you look at the back of that Zartan card. Now, it could be that Zartan is a special outlier in that group of figures and they just didn't put the bat on, but that's very doubtful. The wave usually is on the back of that card back, isn't it? On the wave of standard retail figures are usually on the back of the card backs. In fact, it's a shame we couldn't get a shot of the back of this card back, because that might give us even more information as to what this belongs to. Now, it could also be some sort of exclusive that just got out and into the hands of a lucky person. It could be there could be many different things for this. My not opinion, I suppose, in my opinion, my expectation here is that this is probably very probably the one of those like figures that pops up within a wave that is never really told. You find it on the shelf before you see it anywhere. So yeah, not too sure, but it looks fun. It's a play on the Python Patrol classified bat, which I think they also did in Reaction standard, didn't they? I'm sure they did a Reaction bat Python Patrol. He says, having to bloody look for it now. I remember the whole Python Patrol Tiger Force little set they did. Pretty sure the bat was in there. Yeah, it was Destro, Cobra Commander, Baroness, and where did those images? There was like a real like obvious image of it, wasn't there? Like a one group shot of all. There it is. Yeah, the bat was in there. So they did a Reaction one, and it was the same kind of vibe. It copied the classified design of the Python Patrol bat, and yeah, this is effectively a repaint of the Battle Android Trooper. That, well, I say it's not a full-on repaint, is it? Because it's a different head sculpt. So the head looks to be, is that the same as the Reaction head? It might just be the same as the Reaction head. Obviously they may have to make a little slight adjustment in tooling, but it's looking pretty. There might just be a completely newly tooled head, which is more than likely. So in any case, that's awesome. Yeah. So I'm into this. I was expecting a few. Oh, Chinese seller on eBay. Thank you, Airborne's Customs. I've requested a photo of the back of the card from them, but haven't heard back from them yet. Well, thank you very much, Darren, for that. You're doing a little background work. I appreciate it. Figure looks more pink than red. Unfortunately, cool though. I don't. We are sharp. I would imagine that the lighting isn't the best. It's not the best quality image, by the way, either. I could see it being probably a little bit richer in the red, more probably very close to the Reaction one, the original Reaction one, which, yeah, it's not pink. I think it's going to be closer to. That's not. I think it's going to be closer to that red. But again, it's sort of like a, yeah, it's, you know what I'm saying. Oh, thank you, Darren. You sent me a listing for that Battle Android Trooper, the original listing. Yeah, cool. It's just one image though, isn't it? Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, in any case, fun times. That's all I can say on that one, really. I think there's nothing else to really go into. I'm excited to see the obviously managed to get to see the next wave, of course, of Reaction at Toy Fair. That was really cool. Got to see them in the cabinets all lined up, very nice indeed. There was something I want to mention here as well, actually, is I did jump to not necessarily the wrong conclusion, but when we were looking at the Wild Bill artwork, I was like, he's got 6 fingers. But having looked at it again, I actually think there isn't a figure in the trigger hole. There isn't a figure in like the, in the trigger itself. I think what it is that I've got two theories on this, right? One, they didn't quite do the trigger guard properly. Like, you don't see, it doesn't like connect. Like, there's a little gap at the bottom, kind of looks like the finger's pointing down. But then when you really zoom in on it, it's just a hole in the trigger, and then behind it is the orange of the explosion behind it. So I'm kind of, when I look at that, sorry, I know I'm describing anything with an image on screen. You'll just have to look at the image as well separately. It looks as though it's the color of the explosion behind it. Now, one theory I have is that it might not be AI necessarily. And this is the thing, I don't like just kind of saying, oh, you've done AI and it isn't the case. Like, I don't want to be like throwing that around if an artist hasn't done that, or if they haven't done it right. So I don't want to just be like throwing accusations around without actually knowing fully well if it is. But the Wild Bill art on the retro card did strike me initially as having more than the necessary amount of fingers. But like I said, as I looked at it since, it looks like the hand is all the way around the handle and there isn't a finger in the trigger guard, right? So because of that, I was thinking either it's been done like by an artist properly and it just doesn't quite line up properly, and it makes you kind of, your brain sort of go, oh, that doesn't look right. And this is another thing, they may have doctored the artwork after the artist has done it, in order to maybe take his finger off the trigger, in sort of like a throwback, not as an homage to the old less violent card backs of the Scandinavian releases of the Joes and so on and so forth, but like I'm sort of kind of getting at the point where maybe they didn't want his finger to be on the trigger on the card, and maybe they took it off, and that's why there's almost like a tiny gap where the trigger guard doesn't quite connect again. It's difficult to describe this without it on screen, I apologize, but what I'm saying is I'm not jumping to the conclusion immediately that that's an AI art kind of situation, because they've usually used Jason Edmiston for the card art and it's phenomenal, and I haven't got any issues at all with really any of the reaction card art. I think some of it's amazing. But we will get to some other card art in a second, which definitely has me questioning things. But anyway, there is the Python Patrol bat. Don't know if it is. I mean, it looks legitimate. I'm not gonna sit here and go, it could be fake. I mean, it looks pretty legitimate. We just don't know what it is yet. We don't know what its purpose in life is yet. So this will probably take a little while to kind of, to actually come to light, basically. Andrew, Chris, you was in New York. Yes, I was, Andrew. It was amazing. That was I went on Saturday morning, stayed the night, and then came back Sunday morning because I'm just down the road. Wild Bill with the semi-auto pistol is just weird to begin with for me, says Scott. Yeah, sort of. On the regular reaction Python Patrol bat, they just have the Python Patrol logo with Cobra Bat. This one lists as logo plus Cobra Bat plus Python Patrol text. Makes me wonder. Cobra Bat Python Patrol makes you wonder about what it being real or not. G.I. Joe, la 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 la. Because I'm like, I look at it and I see things like the Reaction Plus logo, which is a nice addition. I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? We'll find out though. We'll find out. Jason Edmiston definitely didn't do Wild Bill, said Paul. Is that correct? Anyway, next up, we'll move on because we've got a lot to cover. Now we've got promo images starting to do the rounds. Now this one popped up today. This is of the packaging, or the figure, the firefighter in the packaging. Of course, we've seen like beautiful images of these all over the internet. It's not like anything new, really. It's just I do like to kind of, when the actual promotional images come out, I like to just talk about them and go through them, even if they are basic and we've seen them already. It's usually like, the stuff and dios I really like to kind of get stuck into, and we do have some of that. And I'll also say, on speaking about the AI art, just quickly, what we were talking about before, I don't like the thought, I don't like the thought of it being used for this kind of stuff. I kind of feel like, you know, let's keep that sacrosanct to, let's keep it with the artists, you know, with that stuff, because that I don't know, I just don't like the thought of them just churning stuff out in a because you can, this is the thing, we're having to like second guess ourselves sometimes, and I don't like that. I'd rather just look at it and go, that's beautiful artwork, well done. And I want the artist to kind of come forward and put it out there and say, here's what I did. Because most of the time that does happen. We see the artist talking about the artwork they did for this, that, and the other. We see the sculptors doing it now as well. People that have worked on certain, you know, figures and stuff. That's what I want to see. And I want to have that interaction with people working on this brand, not just from a toy design point of view, but an art point of view. I want that about it. I don't want it to be, let's just put this prompt into, you know, an AI and have it churn something out that's really soulless and pants. In any case, that's all I wanted to say on that. Stygian says a legacy SWAT would blow the mind. Well, according to leaks, that's all I'll say. Scott says each 60th / legacy figure release outdoes the previous releases. It's insane. I have to agree. This is next bloody level on my, on in my opinion. I think this is just next. I think this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Loads of stuff. He looks awesome. It's a wicked design. It's just great. Lots of options with this one. Lots of options. Cropstar says, love it. Dad was Detroit firefighter. That's awesome. Will they be making any more legacy figures this year? Yes. Yes, they will. Thank you, 610 Yojo Daddy. That's very kind of you to say. This firefighter looks awesome, but I wish it had a Halligan tool. It does, doesn't it, Jason? It does have a Halligan tool. We'll go through them now. Right, so here we have the promo images, which dropped literally the night I was doing the live stream, which is crazy. And again, Matt and company have done phenomenal work with this one. Matt, Shooting the Galaxy, did post saying that there's some more promo images that he's hoping also get revealed for this particular photo shoot when the figure goes up for pre-order tomorrow. Don't forget, pre-orders tomorrow, guys. I believe it's 1 p.m. Eastern. Was that 10 a.m. Pacific? 10, 11, 12, 1, yeah. So yeah, keep it locked, and also just keep it locked all day, because I know in the past I've said, oh, that's 1 o'clock, and it came up at like 10 in the morning or something. So yeah, just I'm saying 1 p.m. but it might be earlier. I think it'll be 1 p.m. But you know what happens? Just keep it locked on the day. Just keep looking every now and again. Keep on top of it. That's what I do. That's what I expect you guys to do. But anyway, these shots are gorgeous. I love what they did with them. This one's really cool of him just kind of like coming out of the window after maybe they've got on top of the fire itself. It's just a bit of smoke floating around. Use the web browser, not the app, folks. Yes, indeed, 3-star draw. Indeed. Definitely have your laptops open for that, for this one, or just use a browser maybe on the phone. But yeah, make sure you're logged in, all that good stuff, because it's always a pain in the butt, isn't it? I just refreshed the links between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern and try to let everyone know when they go live. Thank you, R Sharp. Yes, I think you're one of a few people that tried to do that. There's the Halligan tool, right? Right? Am I being crazy? I thought that was the Halligan tool. In any case, did they say when the snake armor is going up for pre-order? They haven't, Bryce, but I would expect the 18th for the fan stream. I don't think it will be it'll be on the day of the live stream, I'd imagine, because they when they do live streams, it's usually on the day of, and when they do like conventions and exclusives and stuff like that, it's usually following the event. So yeah, but if it's a fan stream, yeah, it's usually on the day of. So it'll probably go up on the 18th. Anyway, it looks a lot like a Halligan tool, but it's missing a prong. Okay, Jason. Okay, so interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a look at a Halligan tool now just to see what you're getting at. But I mean, Hang on. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So it's got like a little sort of, it kind of like does that on the top, doesn't it? Sort of like it looks like a little it looks like a little like a little creature. Looks like a giraffe with a hat on. It's a giraffe with a hat on, or some sort of bird. But I mean, it's close enough, isn't it? I think it's pretty much there. Oh, the pic is turned towards the house. Is it? Maybe it's the angle. Okay, good point. Flaffle says, "Good evening. Great interview with Lenny. About as thorough as time would allow. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I actually, what is funny, I missed out talking about the claw, which was there, and I wanted to get it on video and everything, and I just forgot that it was up there on the top shelf because we were going through all the shelf bits, and then as I got to the end, I'm kind of like thinking, oh, that's everything. Then completely forgot about the claw. So I tried to get as much in as possible, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Genuinely, we're getting Lenny on, Lenny and we're getting Lenny and Tony on for a proper interview, more in-depth interview for Redacted. So that'll be really fun. You can look out for that soon. Probably going to do. We're probably going to do it before the 18th. Okay. So maybe we can get an interview out of them following this. And then that's the thing, though. I don't necessarily think they'll be up for doing 2 interviews in such a short space of time. And with Lenny, technically, it'd be about 12 interviews, wouldn't it? She's not fully off Joe Stygian. Emily's is well and truly on it. She's on a number of brands. She's just not like necessarily. I mean, she was there at the show with the G.I. Joe stuff, the G.I. Joe and Transformers. She was there doing interviews and chatting with people and all sorts. But yeah, Emily was literally behind the G.I. Joe stuff at the beginning, in front of the retro figures, the legacy firefighter. It was the interview I did with Lenny and technically Dan Larson for 5 seconds. I was using Emily's rig. She has this really cool rig with a light on it and everything. That's what I stole it off her and was using that to do the interviews. So yeah, she was well and truly there, and she was doing Joe and Transformers and multiple other things. She's like on lots of stuff, basically. She has transcended the bounds of any one brand, Michael. She has, yeah. And absolutely, Emily's great, and I always love catching up with her whenever we do these things. Chris, did you whisper the concept of a Dreadnought bat into Lenny's ear? I did not, unfortunately. Anyway, going through these beautiful images, here's another cracker, absolute beauty, of the firefighter trying to fight that entire fire with his Halligan tool, or part of a Halligan tool. What did I almost drop? And then here is another shot of the of the firefighter. I mean, yeah, it's great. I really want to know what dio pieces they use. Did they build that house? Is that some sort of like, is that some sort of like toy house? I'm gonna have to ask him. I'm gonna have to ask Matt these questions, aren't I? 100%. We need a legacy fire truck now. We sort of do, don't we? What did you whisper in Lenny's ear? Lots. Anyway, coolsies. Oh, sorry. Oh, the camera when you first grabbed it, or was it almost knocked some? Oh, yes, you're right. I, yeah. Less said about that, the better. I actually bumped into about 5 people with it. What did I knock over? No, I think my bag was knocking people over, actually, because I had a big backpack on, and I had the rig, and I was doing the camera, the filming, and everything. And I did bump something. With it. It might have just been like something was rocking. I remember that. It might have been one of the figures. It might have been one of the. It might be one of the figures. But yeah, I'm just a clumsy person in general. Anyway, there you go. Brilliant. Love it. Axe as well. Love this shot. We're using the fire blanket, which, what a cool addition to throw in there. It's just so good. And this looks really cool. Like, I wonder if they're going to have some other shots with this blanket being wrapped around like other characters and stuff. I love how this firefighter's got it wrapped around him. Like, are you all right, mate? But anyway, these legacy photos are probably my favorite ever. So well, they are great, aren't they? Did we get any expectations nailed down for the infamous delay that was mentioned? Nothing. No talk on the delays, unfortunately. Jason says a Halligan tool is 3 tools in one and adds, pick, and a pry bar. It's clear from every photo that the adds is missing. Thank you very much, Jason, for that bit of extra info. I can see what you're saying. Definitely get what you're talking about. Classified scale house confirmed. Absolutely, Lawrence. Running to Google ads. I like that, Blitz. That's like a pun. He's pulling a James Brown. He is a little bit, isn't he? Anyway, yeah, brilliant stuff. Great images. Here's another shot, just posing in front of the burning house. It's like, Steve, get in there and start cutting some wood down. He's like, just get us a picture first. Get us a picture in front of the burning house. A case of ex-semi-pro basketball player in a toy show. Balls in you get. Great coverage. Thank you. Hi, it's me. Classified Springfield CG house. Actually, that's not bad, is it? Actually, that's a good idea, Robert. Venom. Hey, Chris, do you have any idea what the ETA for Retro Wave going up tomorrow? Yes, Retro, Legacy, Snake Eyes, and Breaker are all going up at 1 p.m. Eastern. So Legacy is regular retail, like wherever any good toys are found. Same with the Retro. Snake Eyes and the Bear are Fanmazon, and Breaker is Target. But they'll all be available on Pulse as well. In like, you know, well, other than Retro and Legacy, they'll be on Pulse as per usual, and probably a lot longer than normal. But the Breaker and Snake Eyes will also be on Pulse for, they call it like limited quantities for like very short period of time. Russell says, Chris, haven't seen you since 2018 at Tennessee JoeCon, or was it 2017 Florida JoeCon at the craps table? I can't remember, but I hope you're good, mate. Thank you, Russell. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's probably what was the 20? It was Chattanooga, right? And 2017 was Florida. Yeah. Either way, it might have been Chattanooga was the last time, Russell. But yeah, thank you very much. Hope you're doing well as well. Firefighter should be August 1st, Snake Eyes September 1st, Retro October 1st. What do you mean, as in when they deliver? I wasn't aware. Yeah, I don't know about the dates actually coming in, but thank you, Roger. I think it's Roger, isn't it? R Sharp. This guy looks awesome. I was not sure about the Legacy line, but I'm all in now. These are legit great figures, says Mark. I have to agree, Mark. They're crazy good. Shipping dates. Thank you, Roger. Future Fortress Maximus, big lob in a China shop. Amazing. Yes, like the stream, says Falafel. Do it. There you go. There's another. This is the Jaws of Life as they're opening the garage door. Man, what freaking dio pieces are they using? Have they made this? Have they found it? Have they found something and sort of like messed? I'm gonna have to get Shooting the Galaxy on another interview because I want to see, or I want to know exactly what they use for this house because it's brilliant. Did Lenny call that a Halligan tool? He didn't actually, Jarhead. When we were going through it on the interview, he called it a pry bar. But you know, effectively what was going on. Jason says, amazing figure, Halligan aside. Could you imagine, Jason, that you just were like, I don't want anything to do with this because it doesn't have that tiny bit of plastic at the top of the thing. But yeah, I get what you mean. It would have been cool if they'd have added that little extra notch at the top, that little extra bit at the top for sure. Looks like plastic shards on bottom, colored lights and melting ice in background, question mark. Yeah, there's definitely, well, they use like they've got little smoke machines for that. And I think the broken glass, I thought the broken glass was there as actual literal broken glass, but I think it could be to add more of an effect. But no, it might also just be broken glass from like smashing a window and what have you. Hobby Lobby has a bunch of these houses in the back of the store on the shelf. Really? Okay, that's probably what they did then. That's kind of interesting. I might have to try and grab me one of those, Lee. Jaws of Life is trademarked, so they actually can't call it that. Interesting, Carl. I think he called it plenty. I think he called it loads, but I don't think it's written down anywhere, so I don't think it matters. I don't even think it's. There might be listed in the copy as something else, but yeah, I don't think it. You can say it as much as you like, can't you? Brilliant. And then of course the old heavy mallet as well. The old Timmy mallet. Oh, hang on. Oh, what's this? Oh, I've been sent a few more images of the firefighter. In fact, there might be a few here that aren't. Yeah, there's a couple of newies. There's a couple of newies. Oh, if only I should have just waited to go live tomorrow, shouldn't I? We'll be throwing these on. I'll be looking at these obviously on tomorrow's show. But there's that one. Again, it's like, hey, Steve, take a picture of me in front of the burning garage. Then there is this beauty where they're like, oh, knackered, just sitting, chilling. What the hell, man? That was crazy. And then there's this one, which has just got all the accessories laid out on the thingy, I've already forgotten what it's called, the fire blanket. Thank you, R Sharp, for those extra images. I will probably post some of those extras in a little while. But yeah, much appreciated. And we got a few of them on the actual screen, so that's good. Oh, no, I do have that one on screen. Okay, so I do have that one. I have to repost that one. That was the one I showed you first. And then this is the final one I have. So yeah, this is the one of him. Just take a picture of me in front of the garage. The burning garage, as Steve would say. Steve would say, take a picture of me in front of the burning garage. And then he'd take a picture of him. And that's what you get. Brilliant. Yeah, so I wonder if the broken shards of glass are just from the glass on the garage door, the garage door. Sorry, I keep saying garage because I've been in the States too long. That's bad, isn't it? I need to say garage. What do you call it? Garage. Anyway, that is that. And then, of course, this is the last image I have of firefighter sans helmet with goggles holding tank. I really like that actually on the video where Lenny pulled it off the back to show us. I was like, oh, I'm so glad that actually was a thing, because when we saw the leaked images of the kind of like prototype parts, I thought they were going to glue that on and then it would always like be on there. So I'm glad that that's kind of like a removable job. Not one squirt of water in these pics. Indeed, out of shelf space. They're waiting for barbecue to turn up. I think it's one of those weird things like Kleenex. People use the brand name for the things so much it becomes general use. Yeah, totally. Oh crap, he burnt his hair off, says hi, it's me. Hilarious. It does look a little bit like that. You can have barbecue the anniversary firefighter and blowtorch riding on the fire truck and blowtorch with a peculiar look on his face. Indeed, Andrew. Halligan tool without that giraffe hat means that it's really a Kelly tool. Make a quick Kelly versus Halligan Google search. I won't, Squishy, but thank you for doing the work for me. Will the pre-orders be an hour early for Pulse Premium? Not an hour early. They'll be at 1 o'clock, but it will be 2 o'clock that it goes up for general consumption, if that makes sense. So Pulse Premium will be at 1, regular will be at 2 p.m. That's usually what the situation is, if I recall correctly. That's usually how it goes. Yeah, anyway, that's that. Then we have Breaker, but we don't have a lot of this is all we have for Breaker at the moment, and the reason for that is that we don't usually always get target dio pictures straight away. So what will probably happen is when these go up tomorrow, there'll probably be like an email that goes out with materials that will have, all of the information in and all of the promo images, or you'll be able to get it on the Target link listing. Although sometimes Target's weird. Target sometimes doesn't have all of the promo images for it. I know Walmart also are a little bit stingy when it comes to promo images on their listings. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And that you never know. There might be leaked images before the night is over. And then I'll get to talk about it tomorrow with a few new things to get stuck into. So, that's good. We'll be able to talk about Breaker promo images tomorrow anyway, won't we? So, yeah, there you go. There's Breaker. Backpack, helmet, cable, mass device element, dagger, pistol with silencer, and alternate head with bubble gum bubble. which is brilliant. So pretty solid. I do love this figure. I will be definitely. I'm on board for this sort of like as an exclusive, and hopefully we can get everything that we want, guys? Hopefully we can. Right, let's move on to the retros. So we have CoverGirl. Now, I got to say, I have heard that the card art for Flint and CoverGirl is not AI. I have heard that on the kind of like, you know, in the industry, shall we say. So I also don't want to kind of like bag on that at the moment, but I will say I was 100% thinking that CoverGirl and Flint's card art shared a very similar vibe that wasn't in keeping with what we've seen, what we're used to with retro cards, or not retro cards, but the vintage era. We've had some interesting card art on the retro cards, I would say, like not always, but like they're not always smashed out the park, unfortunately. But like I said, I actually quite like the card art for CoverGirl. I think she looks really good. I think this is really solid. And I think I was only a little bit kind of concerned when I thought it might have been AI based on the kind of similar vibe to the Flint card art, if that makes sense to everyone. But I will say that I think this card art's really cool. I just think the lighting's off. I think it's a little bit too dark in like the lighting. And I know, like you've got like it's the backlit usually because of the explosion or what have you, but usually the artwork for the front of the figure is very clear. So I'm just not 100% on board with the lighting. But I think the artwork's nice, and I think she looks good proportion wise. I like the action, I like the dynamism. I think she looks cool. But yeah, for me, for this retro wave, it's all about the figures anyway. Like the figures are just exceptional. This CoverGirl is beautiful, absolutely brilliant. I love the accessories. I love the hair options. I love the different the fact you've got two different heads and two different hair pieces. Absolutely brilliant. And again, like really good additions with like obviously the sledgehammer, the wrench, of course, like she had before, and of course the rifle. She has the sunbow rifle, doesn't she? Yeah, sunbow rifle, the pistol, the sledgehammer, the wrench, and the hands, and of course the heads and all that kind of jazz. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to be clear on that with the artwork. I'm with you guys, and when it comes to AI, like I don't want it anywhere near artwork. That's one of those things where you end up like it just becomes like that corporate decisions made, and you're just like, I can imagine for the creatives in the company it being very difficult to swallow when that happens. But anyway, this figure, let's focus on the positive part here. The figure's phenomenal. I love that we've got the little thing on the little pouch on the arm on the side, which has E4 on it, and I think Krieger. Yeah, Krieger and Armor on there as well, her name and her specialty. And again, this is the loadout of all of her gear as well. Just brilliant stuff. And again, we always don't get like tons and tons of promo images for the retro. It's usually just these images on explosion backgrounds, isn't it? Is what we get. So yeah, stop trying to make fetch happen, Stygian. I got that reference. As long as the head bulb is all one size, still has Baroness flashbacks. Lol. Yeah, Carl. I think that if you want to switch the CoverGirl heads around, you will be able to with this one, because Jeremy in the chat, he actually has this in hand, the lucky B word, and he has shown comparisons of the heads being moved around, and they fit perfectly. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Brilliant stuff. Now, Flint, I've got to say, love the figure, but the art, I'm not quite sure. Again, I think lighting is weird. Proportionally, it looks a little bit weird. Some people have said that he's got 6 fingers, but he doesn't. I think it's effectively what it is the pinky, the one that's like majorly on show there, like like front and center. It's just got like a light and shadow on it that makes it look like 2 separate fingers, but it's not. He's got 5 fingers. But that said, that just because it's not just the fingers that tip you off when it's that kind of style. But like I said, as far as I'm aware, this is not AI. But the problem I have with it is that it sort of has that vibe. And again, the lighting on the face doesn't seem to match the lighting elsewhere in the same area, like on his body, torso, on the arm. It seems to be like completely different, which is confusing to me. And again, I think it should be brighter on the front, personally. But in any case, by the by, the figure is again exceptional. I didn't ask about the. Someone mentioned this. I didn't ask about the friggin' holster because it looks a little bit chunky, doesn't it? That's definitely a question I will put to Lenny and Tony in the redacted interview for sure. But yeah, the artwork of his face looks worse than the old Halloween mask. Well, Michael, I have that Halloween mask. I should wear that more often, shouldn't I? Anyway, let's get on to the beautiful shots of this figure. I love how the one on the right looks like he's pointing at the one on the left, like kind of going, you've lost your beret. But I do love these. This figure's. I'm so excited for Flint. So excited for Flint. I love Flint. Flint's one of my favorite ever characters. I may have mentioned that before, but he is an absolute favorite. Again, huge in the Action Force International Heroes sort of like UK vibe scene in the comics, and in the, he was always in the VHS episodes. Like the ones they picked, predominantly had Flint in them most of the time. He was the UK's Duke, if that makes any sense. Which is funny because Duke was also quite prominent in the latter Palitoy era as well. So it's funny that my era anyway, my generation, I was 1980, and so I was with Joe especially strong around 87 when we got International Heroes rebrand, and Flint, Jay, that was my Duke and Scarlet basically. We still had Snake Eyes and Scarlet and all those Duke show up in the cartoon and the comics and what have you, but Flint was the man for me. I loved him, absolutely loved him. So to the fact that we've got I've got 2 Flints already. The first one, which I think was a really good figure, I love it, and I see it as just a classified Flint, like a classified version. And then the Tiger Force one, I think I might be in the minority there, but I absolutely adore that Tiger Force Flint so much. But now that we've got this one, maybe we can get another Tiger Force Flint. Maybe we can get another. What was I going to say? Maybe we can get more Flints out of this. Just one more Flints, really. But yeah. Anyway, I think he's great. Looks good without this is a great shot holding the straps, not of his backpack, although that's effectively what it looks like. But that's such a good shot of him holding his ammo, his ammo braces. So good. And yeah, the backpack looks great. They're flares, by the way. Lenny was saying they're specifically flares in his backpack, the red things. And because he's been watching the videos too, he sees us talking about this stuff all the time. Andrew, Chris, if I knew you were coming to New York, we could have had dinner and raised a little bit of hell. I'm sure I'd have had time for hell raising, Andrew, after I had to go to an event, immediately to the hotel, and then bust out content like I'm some sort of absolute fiend. There's no time for fun things when I'm doing these things, Andrew. Thank you, though. That's kind of fun. Maybe we could do some sort of G.I. Joe New York sort of. Remember how they used to do that back in the day with before JoeCon happened? There would be a local meetup of Joe fans. That could work at some point in a public place, of course. Anyway, there you go. Flint, lovely stuff. Here's another shot. Flint loves being on a bended knee, clearly. There he is with his awesome shotgun. And there he is with his loadout on the right-hand side as well. Extra hands too. Removable beret. pistol, shotgun, and backpack. I will say I would have loved Sunbow pistol here. I think it's the only thing. I'm sort of hoping that the Ultimates Sunbow pistol works scale-wise, because he might have to hold that. On bended knee, proposing to Lady J. Indeed, Jason. Can we get a redo on retro card for Roadblock? Put him on the heavy duty body. Chuck, I would love actually. I'd love a not because obviously we have the. I don't necessarily need the same Roadblock we've had as a retro card, but I would love them to do another version 2, sort of like, you know, because obviously the first version of Roadblock in the classified series is like kind of like the updated classified version, but I'd love for them to do a real classic version 2, and have that on a retro card. But yeah, because obviously we've had the heavy artillery sort of version 1 vintage Roadblock, so I don't necessarily need that again. But you never know. That could be on the cards for a retro card in the future, given enough time, enough space. But then again, it was ages. It was like 3 or 4 years ago that heavy artillery Roadblock came out. Bloody ages ago, wasn't it? Anyway, now we get to the Tele-Viper, and this one I have to say I love this. Out of all 3 of them, this is my favorite card art. Out of all 3 of them. And it's funny, all 3 of them are I'm really excited for all of these. Like, obviously I love Flint as a character. I love the fact we're getting a retro Flint. I love the fact we're getting another cover girl with the blonde hair. Again, you know, I never thought we'd see that. And then we've seen it in Reaction Plus. We've seen it in Classified. You know, it's just funny how, you know, you wait so long for a bus and then 6 of them turn up at once. So anyway, the Tele-Viper, another character, another figure that has a very strong nostalgic connection for me. Again, part of that 87 rebrand of G.I. Joe in the comics, in a lot of the VHS tapes I consumed. And just the figure alone, I was a massive fan of. I love the Tele-Viper. I thought it was awesome. And they genuinely, they are an important part, you know, communications and all that kind of jazz. And I don't know, I just really love the concept of them, and I love what they've been so far in the classified series. I loved the classified standard version with the trouble bubble. What a great way to do that figure. Yes, a bit sucked a little bit that we couldn't army build them, but look what we get instead now to army build. So it's almost like, so this is my point of view of everything, right? The trouble bubble Tele-Viper is like a Tele-Viper like infantry leader or whatever. Could even be like a cyborg with that kind of like computer head that it came with. And then this one will be like, you know, the grunts of the Tele-Vipers, and you can army build these a little bit easier. And, you know, you don't have to buy like 55, you know, spend thousands on trouble bubbles, although that's also quite cool. But I don't know, we just get this really awesome Tele-Viper. I love the fact he's scratching his helmet, Kitty said. That's brilliant. What the? It's a really good way to use the what the screen on his visor there. Tele-Viper, but doesn't come with a telly, says Scott. Yeah, that's a shame. The Tele-Viper is perfect, says FC Viper. I have to agree. Vest reuse for Special Mission Brazil Claymore. Oh, indeed, Jeremy. If they don't do that, then again, like if they're not thinking about that, they should be. But yeah, love this figure. You know, I could wax lyrical about this all day. I'm so excited for these to come out, and I'm 100% having to pick up a couple of these ones. There you go, and there he is with his loadout. Fantastic. I love the fact they included those heads. I think that's brilliant, and I couldn't be happier with that. I would have liked more expressions, but I get that this is a good way of saving some of the cost and the budget here and getting more out of it. It's a really good workaround with the visor things, rather than like doing some sort of new tooled thing that has to be like, you know, moved around and everything. This is just take one head off, put another one on, boom, you're done. What are you going to be displaying your Tele-Vipers with? I might actually get 3 of them just so you could have what the on one, what's the other one? Alert on the other one, and then the other one just, you know, normal. Not just, you know, dead because he's not saying anything. Anyway, I'm here for the Tele-Viper. I think it's beautiful, and this is great. Now, we also got phenomenal images of the what I believe is a Fanmazon exclusive of Snake Eyes and the polar bear from the Mass Device. This is great. Now, this image on its own is doing a lot of work. I'm not sure if you really like pick this apart, but there's a lot of really interesting aspects to this. One, of course, is that shot is beautiful. That shot of like, just sort of like to the right, just to the right shoulder of the bear, kind of like the perspective of someone like looking behind, but two Snake Eyes, beautifully framed is what I'm getting at there. You've also got Snake Eyes in a great pose. He's got his knife out, so he's like prepared to defend himself. He's holding the canister, radioactive mind, and his hand is glowing pink because of the obvious fact that he's holding a frigging radioactive canister. Like I said, this image is doing a lot without really, do you know what I mean? Without really kind of like going crazy. And I love it. It's just one of those, it's just a perfect image. And this sells this set to me like it needed selling to me. Come on. This is an amazing set. I love the color on Snake Eyes as well. That kind of like deep purple is such a sunbow vibe, and I'm here for it, honestly. We didn't need another all black Snake Eyes, did we? We have this. We have a retro Snake Eyes in all black. There is no need to do another all black. So the fact that they've they're twisting it with that sunbow vibe is just perfect to me. So I think this is great. I think this is just the best. Yes. So I'll say it one more time for those that are questioning in the comments. Tomorrow will be retro Flint, Covergirl, Tele-Viper, all standard retail, etc. pre-orders, and on Pulse, obviously. Then, as well as, Snake Eyes with the Bear, Breaker, and the Legacy Firefighter. The Legacy Firefighter is the same as the retro figures. Wherever you find, toys, I think that's wherever you find good toys. I can't remember the saying now. And then Fanmazon for Snake Eyes and the Bear, Target for Breaker, but all on Pulse at least for a short period of time at 1 p.m. Eastern. Cool. Are we army building the bear? Is that what we're doing? Now, as far as I'm aware, this is a new price point. I believe that was said when I spoke to Lenny on the last interview. So it's going to be more than $44.99, and I would imagine it's probably, I don't know. I don't know is the answer. Or do I? I don't know. It's going to be more expensive than $44.99 is what I'll say. But to be honest, there's a lot of stuff with this one. So available wherever fine toys are sold. Thank you, Hi, it's me. That's exactly the sentence. This is the polar bear on standing up. 9 inches there or thereabouts is crazy. This thing is huge, absolutely huge, and it's beautiful in real life. Like the actual, like that was another thing. Seeing them there in like real and just touching them and go, oh my god, these are freaking amazing. There's something very, I don't know, it's just stunning. Less than that, Scott. It's not going to be $74.99. It's going to be cheaper than that. But it's going to be more than 40. It's going to be more than $44.99. I can tell you that much. It's going to be in between that somewhere. Because he said it's a new price point. It's not an existing price point. So $74.99 would be an existing price point. So it's cheaper than that. And then, of course, $44 and $54.99 are existing price points. So if I was to guess, probably 60 something, maybe 64, 65, something like that. So that was what I would assume based on the fact that we've been told new price point. Slaughter will fight my bear, says Stygian. Paul says $64.99. Yeah, okay, cool. Maybe it's a lady bear. Maybe it is, Blitz. Does the stomach come off? Not that I'm aware of it. I think it might just be articulation points or something. But no, I don't think the stomach does come off. The bear looks huge. Then you put it by the snake armor and it looks small. Yeah, that's so true, Evan. Actually, It's brilliant. This bears. I mean, look at this. Look at that. That is next level sculpt, quality, deco, whatever you want to say. Like all of the details going on in that face, phenomenal. This picture is screaming at me. Like it's brilliant. I love it. Another great shot. And again, like the piece of the, the battle damage bit that comes out, and you've got that kind of really like juicy red bleeding kind of chunk cut out of him. It's crazy. James Oliver says 13th to 14th Walmart 2-pack. Well, we know Crystal Ball is on the 13th. I don't think the 2-pack is going up yet, James. It might do, but as far as I'm aware, Crystal Ball is the 13th, and the other 2-pack was just a kind of sneak peek, as it were. Not sneak peek. It's Quick Kick and Beachhead, but I don't think that's going up necessarily. Anyway, look at that, beautiful. Then we got this shot where the bear is going for Snake Eyes now, knocking his pistol out of his hand. He's probably already done his knife after he stabbed him to cut that thing out of his shoulder. I've put this in a weird narrative. I'm not sure if it's the right way, but I'm trying anyway. Brilliant. Another great shot though. So dynamic. I love what Matt and Corey do with the photos. They're so good. We're gonna have to get both of them on, aren't we? We're gonna have to get both of them on at some point just to talk about some of these beautiful shots. They're so good. And then we have this one of Snake Eyes just, chilling out, relaxing, maxing all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. In my canon, Snake Eyes adopts the bear and calls him Biggles. Well, that's my canon now as well, Stygian. Love it. Goodness, my pre-order total is going to hurt just in 1 month. In it, sneak peek confirmed. Chris just said it. it's not, all right. Gonna have to custom a hermit. Oh, Scott, you're right. We need the woodsman, says Paul. Yes, indeed, absolutely. That photo this is a funny picture, isn't it? Actually, childish. I like it. That's Snow Joke, brilliant. Yeah, you're right. You're gonna have to see the blind woodsman, otherwise Snake Eyes is dead. Indeed. Chris G says I'm late. Was adding more shelves in Joe Room. You might need to, Chris, the way this is going. And here we have another image. Now, this is almost, for me, it was like he's finally got his foot out of the bear trap, and now the bear's looking at him all happy, like he's going to snuggle him. How cute does the bear look there? Just, I know it would tear you to pieces. I know that. But like, I know there's no way in hell a polar bear is ever going to not eat your face off. But I just want to snuggle that thing. It's so sweet. I don't believe the bear comes with a cannon. Hilarious. Looks like the mass canister is just a giant empty beer stein on a cold night. Don't drink out of that. Please don't drink out of that. Any truth to the prices going up for the standard figures? No truth in it at all. They're $24.99 as far as we're aware. Hey kids, now you can, so retro will be $24.99, standard retail will be $24.99, and I think breakers $24.99. Obviously they might go up this year, but as far as we're aware, based on the information we've been given, they're exactly as all the previous price points suggest. So yeah, no, I don't think there's any truth. I think it's just people, what's the word? Kind of like, just kind of like scaremongering. That's the word I'm looking for. A bit of scaremongering going on. But they probably, the thing is, they probably will go up. Let's face it. Based on world events, they're probably going to go up. But there's not really much that like anyone can really do about that at the moment. We've made our friggin' beds, haven't we? He looks hungry. Hey kids, now you can relive the adventure of Snake Eyes dying from radiation, blood loss, and trauma and hypothermia with the new G.I. Joe action figure. Indeed, Ryan. I bet a Blind Woodsman custom could be made using one of the Marvel Legends Odin figures as a beginning, says Michael. I've seen Blind Woodsman classified customs. I think for the most part, yeah, there's There's a little bit of like, trawling other lines maybe to find parts and stuff. I need to get some 112 Coke bottles for that bear. Oh, that's genius. Do you know what there are? We do have Yojo Cola bottles, courtesy of the wonderful people at bottles and cans, the wonderful people at Codename Iowa, who do Assembly Required. And the last couple of shows I've done with them, Assembly Required, they gave out as little prezzies for attendees and stuff. There was like a little 6-pack cans of Yojo Cola with a little cardboard sleeve with Yojo Cola branding all over it and everything. And we've had bottles of them in the past as well, and real bottles of them. I think mine's knocking about here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it. But it's like an actual bottle, and it was like cola and everything. They just had the Yojo branding on it. It was well good. So good. But yeah, you can get them. I'm pretty sure you can get them from like, not Coke bottles, but like you can get like small drinks canister bottle things and cans, like from also like Etsy mainly is probably the best place to go for those. Which snow joes are next? Asked Jason. Blizzard, Frostbite, Iceberg, Avalanche, Windchill, or Sub-Zero? I think, for me personally, I think Blizzard should be high up there. One, because he's amazing, and two, imagine the accessories. No, two, Tiger Force repaint opportunity. So I think Blizzard's a good one. Frostbite for the same reasons. Iceberg, I think, is probably a good bet at some point in the future. I think Avalanche, Windchill, probably less so, but I'd like to see them. Avalanche, I could see them doing. Windchill being obviously a vehicle driver, I'd love to have him as a frigging classified figure. Don't get me wrong, but we'd have to probably see his vehicle as well. And Sub-Zero, 100%. Sub-Zero's up there for me with Blizzard, and I think again could do a really good job with Sub-Zero. Get over here! I'm just kidding. That's Scorpion anyway. Chris, knock twice for Lifeline being revealed next. I can't because I have no idea. All 2025 is $24.99. Yeah, it is 100%, 100%. But they may go up in the future, is what I mean, basically with that one. Celestial says another figure with the wrong holster that doesn't match included accessories. Really? What has he got? That he's got his pistol and his dagger in there. What's the other thing he doesn't have? Or was it another character you were talking about, Celestial? Let me know. If we ever get Sub-Zero, we can pretend it's one of his polar bears he raises a cub, like on the Jotun Cold Shoulder. Yes, Danny. In fact, if we do get Sub-Zero, can they just give us a little mini polar bear, polar cub, as an animal companion, please and thank you? Because then you can have that polar bear could go with this one and be like a family and everything. Timber is jealous. Timber's about to save him, Carl. I wonder if Timber shows up in the images. You'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think they'd throw Timber in there. Love how they have the glow from the canister on Snake Eye's face in this pic. Yes, actually, I didn't even think about that, Michelle. But yes, 100% they have done that. And it's great. Yes, I'd love to see Hector Ramirez, Chuck. Well, that would be brilliant, especially in Classified. I think Hector Ramirez would do really well in Reaction Plus and Classified. I'd love Hector Ramirez 100%. Timber and Biggles, the Blizzard Adventure, indeed, Stygian. 12 Coke files, whatever. I know it's white, but that's not a cocaine bear. Indeed. AliExpress for sodas, says Chris G. Cool. Thank you. Since we're getting Snake Eyes Bear, can we get the sea tube worms? I'm sure. That'd be kind of fun, actually. I'm betting this price point will be $59.99, Todd says. I hope so. Hobby Lobby has tiny bottles of cola, says Nictomus. Interesting. Bottle and cans or just clap your hands? Just clap your hands. Brilliant, Scott. Blizzard would be a deluxe. Yes, Ryan. And I'd be here all day for it. Arctic Stalker, yes. Or Tundra Stalker, Matt. Yes, 100%. Would be phenomenal. With the kayak and everything. And have a backpack peg on it so the whole kayak could go on his back. Like the original. Frostbite would be great, but I think I want Frostbite, but only if we can get the Snowcat. And by the sounds of it, it sounds like, based on focus group leaks regarding HasLabs, it sounds like snowcats might be being preferred size-wise to HasLabs. So maybe we see that in a future HasLab. Iceberg, says Flaffle. Iceberg says, Frank with an orca in a figure pet set, please. Brilliant. Sean says, came across a bear and her 2 cubs up on Mount Rainier when I was in my 20s. 3 park rangers with trank guns kept us back. Wow. Sean, I also have had multiple run-ins with bears. So I used to work at in New Jersey, in the middle of nowhere, Sussex, New Jersey, on a camp called Camp Luema. Did it for like 4 or 5 summers. And what would happen is they would relocate bears from populated areas, and they would relocate them to less populated areas, like, for example, where a summer camp might be. So we ended up like with this influx of bears one year. The first year I was there, I didn't see a bear all summer until right at the end. It was post-camp. So after all of the camp had finished, we stayed on to do like maintenance and stuff like that with some other camps that would come on, like other groups that would come to like hire the camp out. And while we were there, we were trained as well, like how to deal with bears and all that kind of stuff. And we were coming back to the kitchen area after like doing some work elsewhere, and we'd heard that there'd been a bear sighting. So we rushed down to the kitchen. Dan and I kind of run out to the back where Dan was with me, my mate, who was also running maintenance at the time. We ran into the back of the kitchen area where the dumpsters are, and they were like, "Oh, you just missed it. It was here. It was in the dumpster. It had some food in it. We walked off." And Matt and Dan and I were still moving towards the tree line as we were as we were going out there. I stopped dead because I was in front of Dan. Dan bangs into me, and I'm like, "No, sorry." Dan was in front of me. He stops dead. I bang into him. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he just, like, all of the training we were told was you don't run away. Never run away from a bear because they'll chase you. They've got a chase reflex like dogs. And so we were like told never to. You have to like stand your ground, make yourself big. You don't want to like bare teeth and stuff like that, but you need to kind of make noise without being. It's really weird. The training's odd. You just have to kind of make yourself like a dangerous, like basically you have to make yourself like the bear's going to think twice about starting something with you. Like a bear's going to have any trouble taking you out. It's ridiculous. And we were told to say in a very deep, stern voice, "Go away, bear." Anyway, instead of that, and all the training we'd had all summer about it, Dan ran away, left me standing there. And then the whole thing was, you don't have to outrun a bear. You just have to outrun the person you're with, which is really dark. Anyway, he runs back into the kitchen and I'm left standing there like, oh, like absolutely frozen, because the bear is in the tree line, probably about, I would say about 7 or 8 feet away from me. It was close. I could smell it. I could see it. I was watching it. It was sat down, cross-legged, with a load of like stuff that it had dragged out of the dumpster, just eating it out of its lap. Didn't even notice me. Didn't even look up. And I'm just like, shit. And then I ran, did the thing we weren't supposed to do, into the kitchen thing, closed the door, and we were both like, well, all laughter afterwards and everything. But that happened multiple times when they would come on. They came onto camp when the kids were on camp once, and we had to drive around making noise to get them to go away. We had this really annoying thing happen where the kids weren't allowed to bring food onto camp. We had like our own canteen, all that kind of stuff, but kids would like their families would like try like smuggle stuff in for them, and we would have like a parents' day or like a family day where they would come for the day and see the kids and see how they're getting on and all that stuff. And they would bring loads of food. So at the end of it, all of our dumpsters are full of like trash and food and all this kind of stuff. And despite us saying, please don't leave food knocking about and don't, make sure you eat it and get rid of it. No, it's all left out all over the place. So we had bears coming in all over the place, and we had to drive around in the Ford F-150 or whatever it was. I think it was, might have been an F-250, whatever. I can't remember now. It's a big white pickup truck. And we had to drive around making noise and banging on stuff to get them to kind of like run away. But yeah, it got crazy, and they had to have they had to be tranquilized and relocated again, because obviously we were a very minimal populated area for a while, but during the summer, loads of kids about, bloody dangerous. Anyway, yeah, so lots of bears, lots, and like many, I used to see them all the time at one point, got really used to them. They're really, really adorable, but also it's a bit terrifying. I was in my bunk once. This is quite funny. First thing in the morning, it was my day off, so I didn't have to get up early and do loads of work. And I was sharing a bunk with Dan at the time, who was again sounds like he's my partner, my life partner. No, he was my maintenance buddy at the time, and he'd already gone out to do his thing, and I got up a little later, went to the toilet. I'm having a poop, and our bunk was small, and it wasn't very, like, the walls aren't very thick. It's like a cabin kind of thing, but a very small one. And it's, well, like, our little section was tucked in the trees. It was really like kind of like hidden in the trees. I'm sitting having a poo, and the whole bunk starts like shaking like this very slowly, and I'm like, what the? And I thought it was Dan just messing around, like pushing the bunk around, that kind of thing. But the whole thing is moving, and I'm like, that's gonna be like, it wasn't. No, it was another Dan. It wasn't Dan Larson. And anyway, and it was shifting, and I could hear this like rubbing on the outside of the bunk, and I'm like, what is that? I went outside, I looked around the corner, and there's a huge bear back against the bunk, just scraping its back up against, having a scratch on our bunk. And I went back in, closed the door, and just sat there going, where am I gonna go? We didn't have phones. Like, I couldn't do anything. I had to wait for the thing to bugger off, and then sort of like make my way to like the populated area to find out what honestly, it scared the crap out of you sometimes. There was a snake wrapped around our light above the shower as well once. That was quite funny. Loads of snakes. I remember weed whacking around the same bunk. Weed whacking around there because we had to do the whole camp. It would take days, and so I had the weed whacker, and I'm like trimming away around this bunk again, and I see this cable running across the path from our bunk into the forest, right? And I was cutting the grass and everything, and as I got closer to it, I go to hop over it, and I realized it's not a cable, because I thought it was like a cable of like power cable, or like some sort of like plumbing, because the plumbing was pretty like, it was basic out there. And I hop over it, and I realize, holy crap, that isn't a pipe. This thing was like this thick, like it was that thick, and it literally just like move. I saw it then started kind of moving into the forest. I'm like, holy, how big is that thing? Like, it must have been huge, this snake. And it just went in there, and I went I hot-footed it round up the other side, and I was like, wow, it was huge. But we had, snakes and friggin' bears and all sorts of stuff. These weird little cute groundhogs as well, which I used to call bush pigs, because they looked like, it was just a funny name that we used to call them. But they were really adorable as well, and they would kind of pop out. I remember being on the phone in one of the bunks. We had like a landline that we could call out from, so we could make, like, if you had like a phone card, you could like make calls out and stuff. So I was sitting in this bunk, in the specific the telecommunications bunk, and I'm looking out the window, and this like head pops up out of the grass in front of me, looking at the this big field basically, and this head pops up, and I'm like, what's that? And then I see it moving, big huge fat groundhog dancing around. It was amazing. This has turned into a wildlife podcast, hasn't it? My apologies. Anyway, here's another great shot. This time Snake Eyes is riding the bear, who has got arrows in its damaged parts now. Poor thing. I'm not sure if this is like the polar bear going, okay, we're friends now. You took my leg out. You removed the trap from me. I know that isn't how it works. I know Timber's the one who gets the trap removed. But in my narrative for these images, this is what my brain's doing. And now they're friends, and he gets to ride him into battle. But they're fighting Storm Shadow, and he's got a bow and arrow. But anyway, and that wraps up another episode of Chris and the Bears. Stay tuned next week for Tales of the Snakes. Same bear time, same bear channel. Indeed, Squishy. And now we know what Tele-Vipers do in the Cobra bunker. Indeed, they look at bush pigs all day. Anyway, this is a great shot. I love it. It almost looks like he's jumped on its back and the polar bear's reacting to that. It's like, get off me. Anyway, brilliant stuff. Now, I've updated our listings already, and I've kind of gone and made certain things green because we know that they're coming tomorrow now. And obviously with these leaked images, it's pretty, odds on, isn't it now? So I've gone ahead and I've greened the Search and Rescue Firefighter. I've also renamed it Search and Rescue Firefighter. Breaker is greened. Snake Eyes with the polar bear is also greened. I'll stop saying it that way now. And I've also Tele-Viper, Flint, and Cover Girl greened it as well. So, yeah, and I can confirm, Arthur Deluxe is indeed the Cold Slither box set because the G1062 number does show up on the back of the packaging. Had to check a couple of our pictures from the event, but yes, we can confirm Arthur Deluxe is a Cold Slither box set. So very exciting indeed. Anything else? I think that's it, innit? Yeah, I think that's everything. Everything is as you were, I believe. Yeah. Sorry, I've just got to go through it and just make sure. Oh, I did change the text to modular fortification rather than Cobra defense perimeter. I think is what we were told it was. Kind of wish the polar bear was bigger. Really, Jarhead? It's massive. Tele-Vipers filming wildlife documentaries. Yes, indeed. In any case, that is everything that we know so far. And like I said, pre-orders tomorrow for Search and Rescue Firefighter, Breaker, Target exclusive, Snake Eyes and Polar Bear Fanmazon, and Tele-Viper, Flint, and Cover Girl Retro Standard Issue, Mogadishu. Okay, coolsies. 2026 hasn't changed, so I'll keep moving. Yeah, these are still what we're aware of so far. More will come, of course. It's always the way. And of course, we have updated the graphics for the name-only reveals, which currently stand at just Snake Eyes version 4 as an official name-only reveal. Did I see Play-Doh Barbie crossover at Toy Fair? Looks like something they could do with Mega Marines as well. I didn't see that, Michael. I saw lots of Play-Doh, but I didn't see the Barbie crossover. You also revealed Lexington as the Night Force 2-pack. Oh, yes, Todd. Sorry. Yes, I did. Lexington 2-pack, G1232, Walmart exclusive, Night Force Beachhead, and Night Force Quick Kick. Thank you. Who said that first? Todd and Scott said that. Thank you very much. How did the Cobra bunker look in person, Scott? Phenomenal. It looks so good. It's really funny. I don't know why I didn't take any do you know what it was? In my head, I was focusing just on the stuff that was new, that we hadn't seen yet, that we hadn't got images for. I was so focused on getting all of the new stuff reported that I looked at that bunker dio multiple times that was on the other shelf to the right, but I did not take any pictures of it, and I don't know what was going on. So, but anyway, yes, I looked at it plenty. It's great, and all the ways they'd kind of like broken it up and had it like, multiple different ones put together and everything. It's so good, so bloody good. Did you that Zorana is in the ticket booth of the CS box? No, did I miss that? I'll have to look at those images again. I did not see that Zorana is in the ticket booth of the Cold Slither box. I definitely missed that. Snake Eyes version 44, that's a lot. Monkey Wrench, Night Viper, and Sci-Fi are next 4 figures confirmed. Yep, you can kind of see that on the screen. Monkey Wrench, actually, we got to see on the Cold Slither box art, which was really cool. Will the CS set be ready to ship post SDCC or pre-order? Don't know yet, Stanley. We don't know any more information about the Cold Slither set, I don't think. The only thing we know, obviously, now is the packaging, what it looks like, and how great that is. But yeah, I don't know if we know about those details yet. I would imagine they'll be ready to go for SDCC, like in the same way that the other ones have been. I need 2 more bunkers after seeing that display, says Childish. Yes, indeed. Great work this week on the toy fair and keeping us all informed. Thank you, Hi, it's me. Thank you. Some exciting figs coming. Thanks for the update, Chris. You're welcome, Vlad. And yeah, it's very exciting. Can't wait to see the claw in hand. It's beautiful, Blitz. It is beautiful. I got 10 of the modular forts pre-ordered. Yikes, Ed, that's crazy. Snake Eyes version 44 comes with a cool trench coat, says Chucky Tinderbin. Brilliant. I love saying Chucky Tinderbin, so thanks for commenting. Gotta love how we are getting newer 1989 Cobras, but not Joe's. Yeah, weird that, isn't it? There's more to come in it, let's face it. Squishy Night Force Quick Kick is Copperhead Upper with low light lower. Interesting. Oh, sorry, I see. You're responding to Squishy there, Jeremy. I thought you were saying Squishy Night Force Quick Kick, like that was his new nickname that everyone's been calling him. I don't know why. I'm going to be calling Night Force Quick Kick Squishy Night Force Quick Kick. Squishy says, when you saw Night Force Quick Kick, could you tell if he was on his original body or will Night Force Quick Kick be beefier? So that's what Jeremy was saying. Yeah, it does look like a bit of a beefier look to him, but it's not. It's weirdly like not. When he's got his regular head on, it's not noticeable. But when he's got the mask on, you kind of like, it could be anybody. But that's the whole point. I think like him, like I don't know. I really love that Night Force figure, but yeah, it's not his. It's not Quick Kick's actual body, which is odd, isn't it? Reusing the heads, but not any of the other parts. It's kind of funny that. Especially considering he's effectively naked underneath anyway. There must have been some sort of logistical situation with that, or they just preferred the build, which is another thing, isn't it? You could probably put the same stuff together and it doesn't quite look right. So maybe they thought, yeah, this has to be bulkier. 3-star Draws says SE44 is the Boy George outfit from Pyramid of Darkness. Totally. Well, was I able to ask Lenny if you got? Oh, I completely forgot Stan. Do you know what? I'm gonna message him now because you ask this a lot, and I always forget to ask him. I'm just gonna go and ask him. Hey, did you get? What was it? I forget what it was now. The details of it. It was a postcard. Yeah. Did you get a postcard from Stanley? I always forget to ask. Anyway, brilliant. Okay, there you go. I'll find out and I'll let you know in real time. That so I've done it this time. Mystic Fortune. I'm a little late here, but Chairface being $45, is that a figure and pet pack? I think so, Mystic. We've talked about this on the channel a few times, but yes, my speculation here, it's like $44.99. I just put 45 on there as a, because yeah, it should be $44.99. But yes, that price point is a figure pet, so it's very likely. It's also Fanmazon, that listing. It's very like, for me, I feel like that could be like a Mutton Junkyard repaint, like Marauders or something. We don't know that one, but that's my guess because I feel like it's a figure and pet set. It's Fanmazon. We've had kind of like, Mad Marauders. We've had Sarge was a Fanmazon, Mad Marauders Sarge. I know the 2-pack of Low Light and Spirit was a Pulse exclusive, but I could see it as a $44.99. It's not like a it's not one of you don't want it in the main line because you just had Mutton Junkyard. So it'd be weird to have them again in a mainline sort of release and taking up that figure pet section. So I could see it being, it would make sense because it's a repaint. But I'd love that. I think it would be great, to get them another Mad Marauders kind of characters in there. But yeah, my thought process on Chairface is that it's very possibly like something like that, like a repaint of a figure pet set or something like that. Yeah, okay, moving on. Name only reveals so far Snake Eyes version 4, nothing else. Digital renders, we're down to just 3 now, guys. The Ore Striker, Slice and Dice, and of course that SDCC Cold Slither set. they're the only ones we haven't seen the actual figures for. I know we've seen Slice and Dice in a leaked capacity, but we haven't seen them in an official capacity yet. So that would be really cool to see. That whole set looks insane. The amount of stuff that comes with that, next level. Yeah. Anyway, it is like Thanos snapped the renders away. Childish indeed. Right then, I think, is that everything? I think that's everything. We have. It's been a crazy old evening, hasn't it? I wasn't expecting to go this late, so I'm going to call it. But one more thing before I go, I just want to shout out one more time. Well, a few more times before the 9th of March. Pre-orders for this T-shirt are going to be closing on March the 9th. So get in there on codenameiowa.com for their store, because this is the T-shirt that we've combined forces with Brian Sauer and Codename Iowa to homage our lost friend. Unfortunately, Aaron Dietrich passed away very recently, and we thought we would try and do something to help the family a little bit. And obviously, with this situation, we wanted to do something really cool, and Brian came up with a brilliant design, and so we thought, yeah, let's do it. And all the proceeds go to the Dietrich family. Like I said, link in the description for Codename Iowa, or go to codenameiowa.com, go to the store, and you can get this T-shirt in all sorts of different sizes. Like I said, pre-order closes on March the 9th, and if you can, please do so, because it would mean a lot to us and, of course, to the family. In any case, just wanted to shout that out again while I have the opportunity to, and before the 9th of March. So there you go. Right then, guys, thank you very, very much for joining me to talk about all the news from today. Lots of it. Of course, I'll probably be live tomorrow as well, talking about any of the other images that we missed. And yeah, in that time, good luck tomorrow getting your pre-orders sorted. Remember, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Pre-orders for the retro wave of CoverGirl Flint and Tele-Viper, Legacy Firefighter, Fanmazon Snake Eyes and the Bear, and Target Breaker tomorrow. Okay, cool. I'll see you on the next one. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, I think you know what to do by now. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full force.